Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? So after lunch, heavy lunch, I think most of the people are still missing. Okay, right. So let's start with a discussion which I think since morning we've not done so far. Since morning and late afternoon, we've been discussing about how technology has disrupted the service industry, what more it has to offer to us for brands, for different organizations. What I would be discussing today is slightly different, adding human element to digitization. While we are trying to move to the digital world, we've already moved to the digital world, but what we're trying to understand is that can we let the human element remain while we're trying to digitize ourselves, is what I'm going to speak about, right? Okay. So let me just start presenting. It's a very, very simple presentation. It doesn't have fancy graphics. It doesn't have a very, very strong PowerPoint presentations or very, very strong content. I've tried to simplify it as a layman would understand, because when we're trying to strategize any policy, any kind of procedure while trying to service our customers, we try to go overboard. We're trying to analyze too much of data, hold too much of data, and forget the simple things that we need to focus on. What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to create an experience for the customer. Do we know our customers? Do we first understand what the customer wants? Have we tried understanding or categorizing the class of the customer or segment of the customer? I think most of the brands, most of the organization is trying to ape each other to be in the market, to be in the rat race, and they're trying to think that one size fits all, but it actually doesn't. And I'll try to share a few use cases to explain it in a much, much detailed manner. Let me just start. So digital customer experience, we all understand that we're trying to not just service the customer, but we are trying to create an experience for the customer. And in the digital world, the customer is actually going through a lot of touch points where he gets to interact with the platform or the service provider. And that's how the experience starts getting created, right? So any experience which the customer is going through remains in his mind, whether it is good or whether it is bad, right? And that is what he carries forward with that particular brand or the service provider. And then, like one of my colleagues was trying to act as a promoter for HDFC Bank, he carries that experience and becomes a promoter or detractor for that particular brand or the service provider. I've already explained this. So this is where we are. This is the world that we are living at, right? We're trying to get everything at our touch point. We click and we get that service. We click and somebody answers our call. We click and we get a response on the email. We do not realize that what are the processes which are involved in getting that experience at our disposal. I, as a customer, would also expect the same kind of experience. But I, as a customer experience leader, I know how much effort it takes for me to strategize and give that delivery to my customer. But between that transition as a customer and an experience leader, do I know what the customer feels? Yes, I know. Because I have been a customer experience evangelist all throughout my career. I speak, I understand, I sleep, I eat my customer and their emotions. And that's what has been a tiff between me and, let's say, my business heads, right? Because when it comes to running an organization, getting your ROIs, that's not what they want. They want sales, they want business. But my one and only ethos is that if I do not have my customers, will I be able to have sales? Will I be able to generate business? First of all, I need to have customers who not only come to me for the first time, but they also are repeat customers. I need that customer stickiness to be there in my product and my offerings. And I think that is the point which we tend to miss out. While the organizations are investing heavily in technology, they're trying to omit or, let's say, forget about this point that if they do not have a repeat business, if they do not have a customer promoter out of a customer, they will not generate business, they will not get the ROI that they are actually looking at, right? So why is it important for us to talk about this? I've already mentioned that we are missing out the fine balance which we need to get between technology and the human element. We're thinking that by getting AI, by getting ChatGPT, by getting the bots, we're trying to solve each and every problem. But I think the element where the human mind is coming into picture, AI versus AI, that is very, very important, right? I need to ensure that I have the right set of strategists who use the tools in the appropriate manner to deliver that kind of experience which stays in the customer's mind and brings him to my platform again and again. I'll give a classic example before I move to my use cases, right? I was trying to evaluate a service provider for a bot-based calling, right? And the example which I was given by the service provider was their client as MG Motors. So what is working for MG Motors and their clients will not be working for what I want to serve to my customer who is a tier 3, tier 4 customer. It is the same service provider, it is the same kind of bot calling which they are offering, but the kind of verbiages or let's say the kind of process flow which will be working for MG Motors client who are very, very intellectual, who have a different purchasing capacity will not be working for my clientele who has a purchase capacity of let's say 50,000 or 70,000 versus a 17 or a 20 or a 25 lakh customer, right? So I'm just trying to create a differentiator. Somebody in the room asked that, what do you do when there are 3 different banks and there is the same service provider who's offering the services? What is the differentiator? I think the differentiator is just the process flow and the intellect. How do you deliver that experience? So I've tried to create 2 digital journeys, 2 use cases for each one of us to understand it in a detailed manner. We all have been using multiple apps for getting multiple services at our disposal, right? So this is an example of an order that I'm trying to get from a retail store through digital method, right? So I go to the app, I start the app, and I start assimilating all the items. 25% of the items are not available. Okay, fine. So I again recap, see, okay, fine. It all seems to be correct. Then I go to the billing section, get the segregation of the items. Everything seems to be okay. All cards are accepted, UPI payments, everything is going hunky-dory till here. I get an ETA of 15 minutes, which is a very, very generic ETA in today's scenario. 15 minutes and your order gets delivered. What happens after that? My ETA gets breached, which is also a very, very normal scenario in a daily routine. It gets breached. What do I do as a customer? I try reaching out to the call center or somebody whom I can speak about and ask that where is my order. Okay. What do I get in response? I'm left at the disposal of the app's process, which is not allowing me to reach out to a human, right? I'm trying to order some groceries, and at that point of time, I'm made to navigate through the app, and I'm just unable to find any human intervention. So I, as a customer, will not be very, very happy. I'm talking about my personal experience. I'll be irate, I'll be dissatisfied, thinking that why can't I reach to an individual, a human voice? Even though I have a very different set of intellect, I am an urban customer. Still, I would want to speak to somebody who can tell me that why not a 15-minute and what happens to my order. Although the order value might be just 700 or 1,000, not more than that, but still, fine. I get to an agent after, let's say, navigating for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He gives me another ETA of 15 minutes. It finally arrives to me after 45 minutes. Just imagine my plight. What would I have done during that time? I thought 15 minutes, my order gets delivered, I'll do something else. But I'm doing something else. I'm trying to navigate through the app. I'm trying to reach out to the agent. I speak to the agent, get another ETA of 15 minutes. Had to finally wait for 45 minutes, post which my order gets delivered. And then I'm also issued a credit of 100 rupees as a service gesture. Very BAU scenario. Each one of us might have gone through this kind of experience at some point or the other. Okay. Overall experience? Overall experience? Any submission? No? I'm sharing my experience. I'll be a detractor for this brand because I'm not happy. I was made to wait for 45 minutes. Okay, so I'm just sharing my experience. Your experience might be different, your views might be different. So it's something that I thought that I would want your inputs. Why was I disappointed? I already mentioned it. Still, I would want to get some kind of cues from the audience. Let me see. Why was I disappointed even though I got a future credit of 100 rupees? Okay, the order was delayed, but I got a future credit, which I can use in a week's time, maybe in 2 days' time, because I'm ordering grocery and it would have a requirement in another 3 to 5 days. So I can utilize that credit. Anybody who would want to answer that or share their own views on that? Sure.
Because the whole purpose of you going on that site is that previous thing. That's why you were there as a customer. That is meaning that 50 rupees doesn't mean.
Opportunity cost? Yeah? I would not want to answer that right now, but I would definitely seek inputs from all the people who are there in the room. Would they have deleted the app after this incident? Maybe? Okay, it's still not a yes or a no, maybe. Okay, we'll take that. Okay? So this is what my views are. It's not incorrect or correct, it is just a view, right? So that's what I'm thinking. That the time was immensely high, and the gentleman who answered it absolutely correctly, that it's an opportunity cost. I went to that store, or let's say that app, because I wanted the order in 15 minutes. I have other courses to attend. I don't have the time to wait for 45 minutes. That's the initial intent of me going to the app, right? The agent apologized for the delay, however, till the customer asked for it. Okay, so as a service gesture, I was offered 100 rupees credit voucher, but it was not a proactive offer. That okay, we are sorry, we apologize, this is our mistake, and here is what we have to offer. So when the customer said, okay, why don't you give me this or that, or you missed out, that is the time when the future credit was offered. Okay, another point, argument. So we all go through this kind of experience on a daily basis for even an order of 700 or 1000 rupees value, even lesser than that. And we don't like doing this on a daily basis, right? Opportunity cost, we've talked about it. Let's look at another case study. Same kind of experience, same app. I get almost all the items available which I'm trying to order. I do a recap, I go to the billing section, all cards accepted, ETA of 15 minutes, absolutely same till here. ETA breached, again same, okay? This app is little different because it is giving me a very easy option to connect to the human voice. So as a customer, again, urban customer, I'm happy because immediately I'm getting to reach out to somebody to whom maybe I can vent out. I can shout, maybe I can talk, maybe I can inquire, but that is immediate that I'm doing, right? ETA of 5 minutes, there, the ETA was 15 minutes, okay, 5 minutes, no problem. ETA gets breached, similar situation, but the agent proactively issues me a full refund for the order amount, okay? Also issues me a future credit. Is it something that I was looking at? That, okay, I'm ordering something, there is an ETA, it gets breached, and I'm looking for a future credit. My necessity was to get my groceries. My necessity was not to get a future credit, right? However, the entire amount gets refunded, so okay, and I also get a future credit. Great. Overall experience? Does anybody agree with me? Will I be a promoter? Will I be a detractor in this case? I am a promoter in this case. Does anybody have a different view? Okay, I think you all are tired after lunch. Let's see. So I again have a question for you guys. Why am I a promoter in this case? Can anybody tell me? Because in the earlier scenario, use case, I was a detractor and I gave my views and somebody actually resonated with my views, right? In this case, I'm a promoter. Is there somebody who will resonate with my views? Yes, please.
Because when things go well, they're fine. But if there are bad times, they always happen, we understand. And someone who goes out of the way to do something, like they did here, that makes an impact. And stays with us. We become a promoter.
Can I use the word empathy over here? We can. We all resonate with this word, right? So I'm just trying to create this use case to explain it to everybody that if there is empathy from the other side, no matter what the situation is, we all will be happy, even if the situation is not in our favor. And we in this service industry, we all understand that there are a lot of situations where we are forced to say a service no to our customers, basis the policies, basis the procedures, basis the regulatory guidelines. You know, we all are working in different industries. So over there, if I'm transparent to the customer, if I'm able to communicate it effectively to the customer why I'm telling you a no, why I cannot give you this resolution in 2 days, which you're expecting, and it will take a 5-day, I think the customer will understand. The customer is not dumb. If somebody is investing money and making a purchase, you know, he's not dumb. He just expects a resolution and a transparent resolution to be communicated to him, right? I'll share a very good example which I shared with one of my colleague here, Shashi, who heads customer experience in Dr. Lal Path. I just shared my personal experience, why I remember it so categorically. So I got my body checkup done as a responsible individual, my yearly body checkup done last week. And the guy who came for the test to get it collected from my home, he said that by evening you'll have your reports. I said, okay, great. Do I need to follow up with you? You please give me your number, I'll call you up. He said, you will not have a requirement, still I'm giving you the number. And I had all my doubts that yes, I will have to chase him up and ask that where are my reports. What happened was, I think by 10 o'clock, so 10 o'clock he came, by 11 o'clock I got the first message saying that thank you and we've collected your sample and this is the time when you'll be getting your reports. I think there was another interim message which said that we've partially done your investigation and your reports are on the way. So couple of messages came to me one by one, and I don't feel it's an intrusion. I did not feel bombarded with the messages because these were all interim messages. And before 6 o'clock, I had my final report ready, which was already there on my WhatsApp. So as an end user, I was extremely delighted, and I shared my experience with Shashi, and I told him to convey this to his other stakeholders also, because see, this is use of digitization. Very simple and effective communication. I as an end user, I just asked the guy that, okay, why don't you give me your number, I'll chase you. He said not required, right? And he exactly did what was told to me. He did not do it, but the technology which Dr. Lal Path has deployed, that actually did. Simple messaging, kept me updated, transparency. I as a customer did not have to follow up. It was all proactive information which came to me, and it was important for me. It was not a promotional message which I got. Right? It was purely transactional. So this is what transparency is called. This is what using technology is called to create that disruption, to create that experience. I will remember Dr. Lal Path. I will recommend Dr. Lal Path. There are so many other players in the market, but I might not want to go there. So as a customer, I will not even go into the comparison prices, that what are you giving as a value proposition when I go for my body checkup. Maybe I got charged X and somebody will be charging me X minus 10, but I might not even want to explore that because of this experience which I got over here, right? So I was talking about being a promoter, and the gentleman, okay, he is not there. So he said that, okay, it is the experience, or let's say the empathy, which created a difference over here. And to that, my thoughts is, first of all, whenever a customer is in a chaotic mind, he needs to be calmed down. There has to be somebody who's telling him that, okay, I'm there. Please don't worry, I'll take care of it. That's the first message or the first communication which the customer wants to hear. It's not his need, it's his want. Want means preferences. I want to hear this. I'm there. Somebody is there to support me. So I actually got connected to somebody immediately, so I was able to get that comfort. The agent also understood that, okay, I did not get my order delivered on time. Some fault, rider did not come to my home on time, or something went wrong over there. He did not wait for me to ask him that, what is it that you're offering me? Are you offering me a refund? It was a proactive decision which the agent took. So somebody again in the morning was talking about that the frontliners are not empowered enough because they are the least paid employees. of the organization. I think empowering the frontliners is the first and foremost thing any organization should think about, because they should be given that power, their right, the decision-making capability, so that they do not have to run to their managers or to the senior management to take small approvals of waivers or refunds. If I'm getting an instant response when I'm making that call to the customer care executive, I'm happy as a customer. If this executive would have told me that, okay, I'm ready to refund you your 700 rupees, but you need to give me 48 hours, maybe that would not have given me that kind of satisfaction which I have right now, right? And of course, service gesture of 50 rupees, 100 rupees, whatever it is, that's an added value. That is not an absolute value which will give me satisfaction as a customer, right? However, I chose to become a promoter for this organization. Overall time consumed 5 minutes. The systems used, I've just tried to put it in place that when we are using any kind of digital interface, what are we dealing with? There are two factors which have primarily led to a paradigm shift in the way customers behave in today's scenario, right? One is the mass adoption of the smartphone, social media, and the consumer-friendly apps, which has actually increased the expectation of the customer. They need everything at their disposal in minutes, right? While doing so, we also have to be cognizant as organization that we do not overcommit or go overboard while giving any kind of commitment to the customer. If somebody is committing me an ET of 15 minutes for a grocery delivery, they should not go and start committing a 5-minute delivery because they want to woo the customer, because I want to be in the rat race. I want to use this as a USP, because all of these things can be replicated and it is not sustainable. Organizations will have to think about it, that whatever you're committing or offering to the customer, you have to ensure it is sustainable enough in terms of your business model, in terms of your ROI, in terms of your revenue. You cannot hire 100 people today and with AI you say that, okay, I'll operate with 10 people, because you're not doing justice to the workforce that you've hired initially today. Again, you cannot go out to the customer saying that, okay, I had committed you 15 minutes, but some reason I am not able to meet that 15-minute delivery, and from tomorrow onwards, I'll deliver in 60 minutes. Even that will not suffice, because the customer will again start expecting and will go to some other service provider. So these are just some facts in case if you guys just want to go through it quickly. I'll just quickly move on. So I've put in some examples over here to state what I'm trying to explain it to everybody. This is a kitchen. We all understand, right? Kitchen equipped with all latest technology and appliances, right? This is digital banking, which we go through on a daily basis, or let's say very frequently. And these are the disruptive technology tools that we are trying to pitch in, which we have been using in our respective organization, whether it is chatbot, whether it is AI, whether it is omni-channel platform. We have been advocating about these tools since morning. I myself use it in my organization, so I'm a big fan of technology. Having said that, I also believe that without having human element added to our processes, we would fail. So what do I mean by these first two examples? The kitchen fully equipped with latest technology and the appliances. If I have a mixer grinder, if I have a blender, if I have smart switches and lights, if I don't have a person who can operate it, everything will fail. Who will come and say, Alexa, switch on the lights? Who will come and deploy these technologies in the kitchen? There has to be a human mind. There has to be a strategy put in place. And what happens if Alexa goes wrong and I say, Alexa, switch on the light, and starts playing the music or starts the mixer grinder? Technology went wrong, right? So strategy, human strategy, needs to be deployed while using these technology tools. Same goes for digital banking. I've worked with organizations whose ethos was that I don't want a people-driven team. I want a very, very lean team. So whenever the customer is calling me, design an IVR tree which is not allowing the customer to reach to my call center until and unless something goes very, very wrong, some earth-shattering situation. So if you, even today we have such processes, such legacy banks where you cannot reach the customer care department. You keep on navigating, and it just doesn't allow to reach to a human voice. What are you trying to aim at by having this kind of lean team? Basically nothing. You're not able to create that experience. What will happen? The customer will shift to a different bank, not because of the ROI, not because of some other thing, but because of this system failing. In the initial stage, you're not allowing him to connect to you, right? I'm just trying to sum up. That's a Ferrari, we all know. That's Mr. Schumacher, we all know, right? I'm just trying to put across a perspective in front of all the people who are there in the room, right? If I own a Ferrari, I know I'll mess up. I will goof up. I know driving, but I can't drive a Ferrari. I'm owning it up, right? And if you give Mr. Schumacher any Hyundai, any Honda, any Maruti car, he will goof up too. Because he's excelling in driving a Ferrari. So you cannot give tools to somebody who doesn't know how to use those tools. Like Alexa, switch on the lights and starting off a mixer grinder. So we have to be very, very cognizant about what are we trying to do with this technology, right? Nakal ke liye akal chahiye. So this is a very, very famous saying which I believe and we implement also, that the entire industry is trying to ape each other. All the banks trying to deploy same kind of technology, same kind of IVR, same kind of service provider. What is it that creates a differentiating element for the customer to choose A versus B? If I have to say that, okay, I want a credit card, which one should I go for? Any contender? Which is the best credit card which is being offered in the market? I'm sorry? Okay. Amex? Amex. I don't need to introduce Amex. And why do we always talk about Amex when we talk about customer experience? Even though Amex charges you a heavy membership fee, still I want to go for Amex. And trust me, when I call Amex just once in a year. Although they have their chatbots, they have those platforms where I can just chat with them, I don't opt for it because I want to get that experience when I speak to an Amex agent. It's so refined. And I know that when I'm speaking to any Amex guy, my query, my issues will get a resolution. I don't have an iota of doubt about it. That's the reason. So that's the kind of experience we all are gunning for. Any organization that I've worked with, everybody has tried telling me that we want an Amex kind of experience. So if that is the epitome of experience that we're talking about, then I think we have to be cognizant about all the factors that we have spoken so far, keeping in mind technology, keeping in mind tools, but also adding a human element and empathy to the same. I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Big thank you to Anamika Chatterjee. Thank you so much.
Next topic here.